Legends of the Galactic Heroes had something superior to what the modern adaptation was. This is a flaw when you update anime. Sometimes you can lose stuff in the context completely and it can destroy much of the real content. This fight here, which I'll show the modern one after this one, had major hallmarks of dropping the ball in the modern adaptation. I will clarify why and point over why. After two is shown, I'll do a general analysis. This introduction to the Rosenbitten, which is the ones you just saw slaughtering the Imperials just then, is impactful. It said they were there for objective and were capable in military abilities. I will continue. This is where I think the original had it better because look at the imagine situation. Imagine you walk into a room to try and flee from fighting to find the enemy commander there. Do you A, let them walk? Do you A, just assassinate them there and then? Do you act with a nice, polite manner? Or do you just ignore them? Let's see, shall we? The initial response from the Imperials, as we saw, was to shoot and to kill. That resulted in two Rosenbitten soldiers dead. Uranfral is their surprise at the incident, not knowing that they were there in the first place. The surprise element goes back and forth in this when, yeah, you'll see. The actual greeting done towards Uranfral is different. In this, it's far more aggressive, less respectful, less about honourable combat, more about just getting it over and done with and just doing an assassination job. And as you can see, Lunflower wasn't allowed to arm himself. He was just attacked, unarmed, and no on the uniform. There's no guns, no nothing. So no, Lunflower has no weapon right now. Oh, yes, sorry. I forgot a side gun, but that's really not a major point to this. It doesn't do much damage to the armor itself, and you can't aim to get a headshot because of agility. As you can see, now Runeflower is completely disarmed. He's attacked then by the Lozenbiton. The Red Baton doesn't have any firearms on them in this because they deal with close combat. Rolandfall taking the dead Rosenbitten soldier's weapon is fitting as he's trained in martial combat and this shows his sensibilities. This is the other factor I think that needs to be mentioned here is that when you compare this to the remake, the attacker and defender thing is made more clear. Yet in this, both the attacker and the defender role is basically shared between the two. At first, the Losenbitten is the aggressor, with Runenfall the defender. Then, Runenfall becomes the attacker, and the Rosenbitten becomes the defender. There's no clear-cut defender-attacker thing. It shows Runenfall as a competent fighter who won't die easily. Runenfall fleeing basically as soon as possible makes also a lot of sense because it's a battle neither of them wanted in the first place. So Runenfall light running, it's perfectly understandable. And that is where, as you'll see when you watch the clip following this, the major difference lies. The difference between the two battles, between that of what essentially is a Elizabethan assassination attempt, which just looks honestly very theatric, but honestly just very boring as a direct result because this looks more choreographed. 艦隊司令官たる者が白兵戦をやるとはな。奴らが噂のローゼンリッターか。はあ、そうらしくあります。全艦戦闘を中止して交代させろ。俺としたことが、こう焦って敵のペースに乗せられてしまった。機関に陸戦部隊の侵入を許すとは、間の抜けた話だ。申し訳ありません。ああ、別に K の責任ではない。俺が熱くなりすぎ。The ending isn't that notable. It's basically the same in each. Rodenfire admits he got too ambitious, and the other one just admits he failed in his job temporarily in that lapse of judgment. So that is basically the same. It's the fight setting and aura of it that changes. And as you'll see when I show the updated one, that aura change is really, really drastic and will give major implication differences. This is the revamp. It looks different, it sounds different, it feels different, as you will see. This is where I dislike this new change because of this. The Lords Unbeaten are shown more as assassins in this scene, which yes, they do assassinations and are fine doing assassinations as we've seen with the original series with regards to the taking of the Ardenhall fortress. But that's not the point. The point is that in this battle, this was a battle which was a conventional battle in which, yes, I know some may think I'm being too weird about it, but at the end of the day, it feels different and uncharacteristic, as is Woodenhall's response to this situation, which feels uncharacteristic as well, because by this point he should have been out of, if true to his character, he should be out of the command place and ready to take action already, not being the command point. And this is the opener of this scene. And this is why I find it kind of bullshit in the comparison. It looks prettier, yes, but the elegance, it gives both characters a massive, in many ways, distorts their characters to change their whole personality and feel. And that's why I don't like it that much, because he's too kinda, he's too nice. Schlashlov never was that overtly diplomatic of a person. He always was on the attack, he always was aggressive. And that's where something that needs to be. I don't know, that just feels weird to me. He was being really polite. But to Imperials, he never was polite. Because polite sometimes to the Free Planets Alliance, but not to the Imperials at all. Also, the two Rosenbitten soldiers not being killed instantaneously also gives a presumption of the Rosenbitten being overtly superior, which is not the core point. Yes, they are skilled, but they could die. They died faster at a faster and faster rate as the series went, until basically annihilation. And this is what I mean. It looks all pretty and all that, but where's the elegance? Where's the characteristic of a aggressor slash defender here? Yes, I know Woolenthal is defending. I guess that's clearly shown, but it's just the feel of it doesn't feel as if it's, like a major occurrence. It just feels like a failed assassination. And this is where aspects of the original fight come in. The fatigue. The fatigue kicked in earlier for the Urental fight because the Risen Bitten had to fight through Imperials to even get to him. And there was a circumstantial meeting. I'm sure in the original, the Risen Bitten were aiming for the command center in the first place because that's what the Imperials did. And I know they changed this to be more thematic and cooler looking, but it still doesn't show much of Rudental's true personality. And also, no, they won't just smoke bomb and get out. They'll probably kill everyone in the way and then get out. The Risen Bitten were very brutal. They weren't like pacifists. As you can see by this visual compilation here, the one on the poster is the original anime poster, and I got two pictures up comparing side by side forces. The Risen Bitten take on a red mecha look. The Imperial forces take on the ugly look, and so on, so on. And that's where I don't actually like the way this anime went in terms of direction. Much like the fight itself, it may look more aesthetically pleasing. It may look more sci-fi and more sophisticated, but in the process, it loses its soul. What then is there in this of a practicality? Is it really that interesting in this situation? And as you can imagine, much of the issue surrounding it now is then changes. To what extent you like which change depends on the personality. I'm not going to sit here and gatekeep whether you like the new or old design, but the thing is, for me, the older one is always better in this sort of thing because there's more expression. It's less made to be cinematic, more to fit the theme of the world itself. It feels more natural in the world itself. The modern one looks prettier, but the story itself is lacking, and honestly, the character design of the new one sucks, in my opinion. It looks cute and all, but it's a war show. Let's be real here. This is a war show about space operas and the Empire destroying the Three Planets Alliance. This isn't about anything other than that, to the most part. And it's all about the shenanigans that go on between, which then leads to the beginning and the end. And that's basically where I think much of this design choice, stylization wise, is quite interesting. Because technically speaking, the plot deviation is not that severe in this situation. Plot deviation between the storeroom versus the command post, very whatever. But it's just the whole lack of responsiveness. Dolores and Bitten should have acted more aggressive. They should have essentially given no basic respect. They should have just given even less courtesy. They should have just went in there straight up and attacked instead of the sword raising in the rebuild, which is more honourable, I guess. But the royals admitted came from the Empire. They don't need to honour the Empire. They aren't like career politicians or career military men for the Free Planets Alliance. I guess it's ultimately down to you which one you prefer as a whole. And if you watch this, comment which one you prefer. Say old or new. I'm really curious. And explain why if possible. With that, I'm going to go.